Liam woke up with a sharp pain in his head and a cold floor beneath him. The air smelled like metal and something sour. As he opened his eyes slowly, he saw steel walls around him, smooth and shining with strange glowing lines. He was inside. A prison cell one that was clearly not on Earth. His wrists were locked in glowing cuffs, and a soft hum came from the walls. The door to his cell had no bars, just a thick slab of dark metal. There were no windows, only a small light above. His head. Liam sat up slowly, his muscles sore from being dragged, beaten. Or both. He remembered the last moments before blacking out, the mission, the alarms, and the sight of the Valari soldiers descending from the sky in silver armor. They moved too. Fast, spoke a language he didn't understand, and overwhelmed the human resistance in minutes. Earth's fighters, like him, never stood a chance. He had failed his mission. And now he was a prisoner of the Valari Dominion. Liam rubbed his temples and leaned against the wall. His mouth was dry, and his mind heavy. He didn't know how long he had been unconscious, but judging by the pain in his body, it hadn't been. A short nap. The door to his cell opened with a low hiss. 2 Valari guards stepped in. They were tall, smooth-skinned, and covered in armor that moved like liquid metal. They spoke in short, sharp words, then gestured at Liam. He stood, slowly, raising his hands as instructed. They grabbed his arms and guided him down the hallway. The corridors of the Valari ship were strange, tall, and curved, like walking through the inside of a giant machine. Other humans were locked behind similar metal doors, some yelling, some crying, some just sitting in silence. Liam didn't yell. He had seen enough battles to know that shouting wouldn't help. They led him into a room round and dim, with a chair in the center. They strapped him in, and a soft light glowed above him. A group of Valari stood behind a transparent wall, observing him like scientists studying a new animal. One of them stepped forward. She was different. She had no armor, just a long silver robe that shimmered like stars. Her skin was pale blue, her eyes a deep silver, glowing slightly. Her face was calm, unreadable. She didn't speak at first. She just looked at him. She looked at him for a long time. Liam stared back. He didn't drop his eyes. He didn't flinch. "Human," she said at last, her voice smooth and cold. "You fought against my people." He didn't answer. "You were brave," she added, almost as if it surprised her. "But foolish." Still, he said nothing. He knew this wasn't a normal interrogation. Something was strange about her. The way she studied him, like she was trying to understand more than just his actions. "What is your name?" she asked Liam. He replied after a pause. His voice was rough but steady. She nodded slowly. "You are not like the others. Most beg. You do not." "I don't beg," he said, meeting her gaze. She tilted her head. "Interesting." Without another word, she turned and left the room. The guards brought him back to his cell. That night, Liam sat in silence, thinking about her. She was unlike any of the other Valari he had seen, calm, curious, even respectful. But why had she come to see him? Was she trying to get into his mind? Was it a trick? Days passed, maybe more. Time was hard to count in space. The food they gave him was strange but kept him alive. Every few days the woman returned. Sometimes she stood at the door. Sometimes she came inside. Sometimes she spoke. Sometimes she just looked at him. She never smiled. She never gave her name, but Liam noticed something. Each time she came, she stayed a little longer. Her questions became less about war and more about Earth, about human life, about family and dreams. He answered few, but listened to all. One day, as she was about to leave, she paused at the door. "You were not born to live in chains," she said softly. He looked up, surprised. She walked out before he could reply. That sentence stayed with him. It repeated in his mind. Who was she? Why did she care? That night, he dreamed of the stars of earth, of the forests and rivers, of his sister's laughter and the breeze of home. But in the dream, she was there too. The silver-eyed woman, not as a guard or enemy, but as someone else. Something more. The next morning, when he awoke, she was standing there again. No guards, just her. "Good morning, Liam," she said gently. "Today we talk as equals." He narrowed his eyes. "Are we?" She didn't answer directly. Instead, she walked closer. "Do you believe in destiny?" Liam chuckled softly, despite himself. "I used to." She smiled then, for the first time. "My name is Renara," she said. Liam looked at her for a long moment, then nodded. "All right." Renara. Something changed in that moment. The air between them felt different, not warm, but not cold either. Like a fire about to start, needing only one spark. Liam had met many strange people in his life. He had seen war, survived ambush, and led small groups through dangerous missions. But nothing confused him more than Renara. Ever since she spoke to him like an equal, his thoughts refused to rest. He had expected torture, mind games, or cold silence from his captors. But instead, this alien woman, noble, calm, and powerful, kept returning just to speak to him. The cell was the same. Metal walls, no windows, soft humming sounds. But it no longer felt as dark. Every time Renara visited, light seemed to follow. That morning, 2 guards came for Liam again. As usual, they said nothing. Their armor made no sound as they walked through the silver hallways of the Valari ship. Liam did not struggle. He had learned there was no use. He let them guide him into the same round room with a single chair. In the center, this time, Renara was already there. No glass wall, no crowd, just her. "Sit," she said. Liam raised an eyebrow. "No straps today?" She shook her head. "I trust you will not hurt me." "I might," he said calmly, watching her. She smiled faintly. "If you were going to, you would have already." Liam sat. The chair adjusted under his weight, forming to his shape. The Valari ship was full of small technologies like that. Everything felt alive, responsive, almost like it had a mind of its own. Renara stood across from him, hands behind her back. "Do you know why I keep visiting you?" "I've been wondering." "That," he said. "Is it for research, curiosity, or just boredom?" She studied him for a long time. Then she replied, "You remind me of someone." Liam was silent. He was brave, stubborn, and always ready to fight. "He was my brother," she continued. "He died during the early wars, when your people still had hope of victory." "I'm not your brother," Liam said softly. "No, but you carry the same fire, and fire is rare in this galaxy." Renara began to walk slowly around the room. "Most prisoners cry, beg, or try to escape. You don't. You wait. You observe. That is dangerous." "Dangerous for who?" Liam asked. "For me," she replied, pausing beside him. Liam looked up. Their eyes met, silver and brown, alien and human. Yet something unspoken passed between them. Renara broke the silence. "There is a war inside your eyes, Liam. A war. Between anger and purpose. I want to know which one will win." "I don't even know the answer myself," he said, leaning back. She stepped closer. "Would you accept comfort, if it was offered?" "What kind of comfort?" "A warm room. A soft bed, good food, no chains. And the price?" "Loyalty," she said simply. Liam laughed, short and bitter. "To the Dominion? No," Renara replied. "To me." That silenced him. She wasn't joking. Her face was calm, but serious. "I see what others don't," she said. "You don't belong in a cage. You belong somewhere else. Somewhere higher." Liam stood slowly. "Why me?" Renara didn't answer. Instead, she turned and walked toward the door. Just before she stepped out, she looked over her shoulder. You are free to walk out behind me, Liam. The guards won't stop. You. Then she left. The door remained open. For the first time, Liam stood alone in the middle of the room, thinking. Every instinct told him to run. Run and find a way off this ship. Run and find other humans. Run and survive, but he didn't move. Minutes passed. Maybe more than the guards. Returned. The door closed. The chance was gone. That night, in his cell, Liam sat on the floor with his back to the wall. He kept thinking about Rhaenyra's words. About the open door. About her offer, loyalty to her. What did that mean? A trick? A trap? Or something else? He closed his eyes and remembered Earth. The green hills, the wind, his mother's voice reading stories. All of it felt far away now, fading, distant. Then he remembered her face. Calm, firm, and strangely honest. The next day, things changed again. This time, Rhaenyra didn't come. Instead, Liam was left alone. No guards, no visits. No food for hours. Time stretched. Then he heard voices outside his cell, harsh, angry ones in the Volari language. He couldn't understand them, but he could feel the tension. Suddenly, Rhaenyra stepped in, her expression tight. There are others who disagree with me, she said quietly. Liam stood. About what? About you, about my interest in you. Liam tilted his head. So, I'm a problem now. You always were, she said, but her voice was not cold. It was soft. She walked up to him. For the first time, they stood only a foot apart. You are human, yes. But you are not ordinary, I know this. Liam looked at the chains on his wrists. Hard to feel special when you're wearing these. She stared at the chains for a long time. Then she looked up. You should have been in my bed, she said. Quietly, not in chains. Liam froze. The words hung in the air like electricity. He didn't speak. He couldn't. Rhaenyra stepped back slowly, her voice calm again. Think about my offer. I won't ask again. Then she left. The door closed. Behind her, Liam stood in the quiet, his heart pounding. Something had changed. Not just in their words, but in their world. Liam didn't sleep much that night. He kept turning her words over and over in his mind. You should have been in my bed. Not in chains. He had expected Rhaenyra to be cold, distant, and full of pride like the other, Volari. But she was different. Not just in the way she spoke, but in the way she looked at him. Not like a prisoner. Not like a soldier. Almost. Like a choice. The next morning, the guards did not come. No food was delivered. No lights changed. The ship seemed quiet. Too quiet. Then, after what felt like hours, the door to his cell opened with a slow hiss. But no guard stood there this time, only Rhaenyra. She was dressed differently now. Less formal, wearing a simple robe, though it still shimmered with that strange Volari glow. Her hair was tied back, her expression calm but unreadable. I expected you yesterday, Liam said, breaking the silence. I gave you time, she replied. And what now? He asked. Now I give you a choice. She stepped aside, revealing the corridor beyond the cell. No guards, no weapons. Just open space. You're letting me go? Liam asked, stepping forward carefully. I'm offering you freedom, yes. But not the kind you think. She turned and began to walk down the corridor, expecting him to follow. Liam hesitated for only a second before stepping out of his cell. That it felt strange to walk freely. Even though his cuffs still glowed on his wrists, the air felt different outside the cell. Like something had shifted. They walked in silence. Ship around them was quiet, the lights dim. They passed doors, rooms, and long silver windows showing the endless stars outside. Liam had never seen space so closely. Earth cities were far behind him now. After a while, Rhaenyra stopped before a tall set of doors. These are my private quarters, she said. You bring all your prisoners here? Liam asked. She looked at him, half smiling. Only the ones who interest me. The doors opened. Liam expected a cold room full of machines or war maps. Instead, it was warm. The lights were soft. The air smelled of flowers, unfamiliar but pleasant. The floor had soft rugs, and the walls were lined with screens showing moving scenes of nature, alien forests, glowing lakes, flying creatures. It didn't feel like a prison at all. "Sit," she said, gesturing to a low table where 2 cups of something warm were already waiting. Liam sat. He didn't drink yet. He watched her closely. "Why me?" he asked. Renara didn't sit immediately. She walked to the window, staring out at the stars. Then, quietly, she said, "Because you are the first human who has made me question everything I believed." Liam blinked. That was not what he expected. Renara turned. "The Volari were taught that humans are weak, that your people break easily, that your emotions are your greatest flaw. And what do you believe?" Liam asked. "I think emotions are your greatest strength." She finally sat down across from him. "You fight for each other. You love deeply. You protect even when there is no hope. That's not weakness. That's something we lost long ago." Liam stayed quiet. She leaned forward. "I want you to be more than a memory in a cell. I want you to walk beside me." "Beside you? As what? A servant?" "No," she said firmly. "As an ally, as someone I trust. Someone who could stand in my court. Or at my table." Liam looked at his cuffs. "And what about these?" Renara raised a small device from her sleeve. With a soft beep, the cuffs powered down and dropped to the floor. "You're not a prisoner anymore, Liam," she said. For the first time since he was captured, Liam rubbed his bare wrists. The skin was sore, but the feeling of freedom was real. "I still don't understand," he said. "Why risk this? What will your people think?" "They already think I'm strange," Renara replied. "Let them think it." There was something brave in her voice. And tired, Liam finally picked up the cup before him and took a small sip. It was warm, sweet, and relaxing. "I can't promise anything," he said carefully. "I don't know your world. I don't know your politics. I don't know you," Renara nodded. "I'm not asking for promises. Just stay," Liam echoed. "For now. See with your own eyes, learn, choose later." He looked into her silver eyes. They were not cold. "Not anymore." "All right," he said slowly. "I'll stay." Renara smiled, not with victory, but with relief. Later that evening, Liam was shown to a private room. No locks, no guards outside. The bed was soft, and the air smelled fresh. It felt more like a guest room than a cell. He looked around carefully. No hidden cameras. No loud hums of machines watching him. Just silence and soft light. He lay down, arms behind his head, staring at the ceiling. What had just happened? One day ago, he was in chains. Now he was sleeping under the same roof as a Volari noble. Invited, trusted, and unshackled. He didn't know where this path would lead. But one thing was clear. Renara was not playing a game. She had taken a risk, and now so had he. Liam closed his eyes and let himself rest. For the first time in weeks, he dreamed without fear. The next morning, Liam woke up feeling strange, but not in a bad way. For the first time in a long while, he wasn't lying on cold steel or staring at blank walls. He was in a real bed, with soft sheets and warm light streaming from the ceiling. His body was still sore from weeks of captivity, but his mind felt lighter. He sat up slowly and looked around the room. It was quiet, peaceful. A tray of food sat on a nearby table. Fresh fruit, warm bread, and a glass of water. Nothing looked dangerous or fake. Liam ate slowly, still trying to accept the reality around him. Am I really free? He thought. Or is this just a new kind of cage? Just then, the door opened. Renara stepped in, wearing a long blue robe with silver designs. She looked calm. but there was something serious in her eyes. "Good morning," she said. "Morning," Liam replied. "Did you sleep well?" "Better than I expected." She smiled slightly, then gestured to the hallway. "Come, walk with me." Liam stood and followed her out. They walked through the wide corridors of the Volari ship. No guards followed, no eyes watched. It was just the two of them. They passed glowing walls filled with moving patterns. Small machines floated by, cleaning or repairing the ship. Everything seemed alive, yet quiet. Finally, they reached a balcony open to space, but sealed with clear energy. Liam stepped forward and looked out. The stars stretched endlessly in all directions. A glowing blue planet turned slowly below them. "Is that Earth?" Liam asked softly. "No," Rhaenyra said. "It's Velarin." "My homeworld." He stared in silence. It was beautiful, peaceful, nothing like the war-filled skies he had grown used to. She stood beside him, arms folded. "This ship will land there soon. I have business at the palace." "You mean politics," Liam said. "Yes," she nodded. "Old voices, old rules. And now I bring something new." Liam turned to face her. "Me? Yes, you." He was quiet for a moment. Then he asked, "What happens when we land?" "Many things," Rhaenyra replied. "Some will ask why you are here. Others will want you gone. There may be questions and challenges. Do you think I can handle that?" She looked at him, long and hard. "You've already handled worse," she said. Liam smiled faintly. "And if I choose to walk away?" "I won't stop you," she said honestly. "You're not my prisoner anymore." Silence passed between them. Then Rhaenyra stepped closer. "You know," she said softly, "in our culture, we don't choose our partners easily. Bonds are rare, but when they are made, they are for life." Liam blinked. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because I need you to understand what I see in you. You're not just a human to me anymore. Not just a fighter or a survivor. You are something I didn't expect." He looked into her silver eyes. He saw no lie there, only something deep and honest. Rhaenyra stepped even closer. "You should have been in my bed," she whispered. "Not in chains." Liam didn't move. Her words echoed in his chest. He wasn't sure what he felt: surprise, warmth, confusion. "All of it, maybe," she continued, her voice low but firm. "When I first saw you, I saw a man who would never kneel. A man who carried pain but didn't let it destroy him. I thought I was only curious, but it became something more." Liam swallowed, his voice quiet. "Rhaenyra, I don't know what this is." "I don't either," she said. "But I want to find out." They stood there, side by side, staring at the stars. Later that day, Rhaenyra gave Liam access to a library room. It was filled with screens, books, and recordings about Volari culture. She encouraged him to learn, to understand the world he had stepped into. Liam spent hours reading. He studied the history of the Volari Dominion, their rise through the galaxy, their strange customs, and their deep rules about honor and loyalty. The more he learned, the more he realized how different their world was, and how difficult her path must be. "She's risking everything," he thought. That night, Rhaenyra returned. She found him sitting on the floor, a book in his hand. "You read fast," she said. "There's a lot to understand," he replied. "And I still don't get half of it." "That's all right," she said. "Even I don't understand everything." She sat beside him. For a while they said nothing. The ship hummed quietly around them. Then Liam asked, "Why do you believe I belong beside you?" She thought for a moment, then answered, "Because you question, you don't follow blindly, and because when I look at you, I don't see a subject or a tool. I see someone I could trust with my life." Liam looked at her. Slowly, he nodded. "All right," he said quietly. "Let's see where this goes." The next morning, the ship began its descent toward Velarin. Liam stood beside Rhaenyra as they approached the planet's surface. Tall towers, floating cities, and glowing gardens filled the view. A new world, new life. He didn't know what would come next, but he wasn't afraid anymore. The Valari cruiser began its descent toward Velarin, the homeworld of the alien race that once ruled the stars and now controlled Earth's future. Liam stood near a wide window, watching the glowing sky of the alien planet grow closer. The clouds were a soft purple, and the land below sparkled with floating towers and glowing rivers. It was beautiful, but unfamiliar. Beside him stood Rhaenyra. Her hands were folded behind her back, her eyes steady. "We'll land near the Crystal Court," she said. "That's where the ruling voices gather," Liam nodded. "And they know you're bringing a human?" "They know I've brought someone." "Not who, not yet." He turned to face her. "They won't be happy." "They don't have to be," she replied calmly. "But they will listen." The ship slowed and touched down gently on a landing platform made of smooth stone. Light shimmered beneath their feet as the doors opened. Waiting outside were several Valari nobles, tall, elegant figures dressed in robes of gold and silver. Their faces were unreadable. Some looked at Liam with open curiosity. Others turned their eyes away, clearly disapproving. Rhaenyra stepped forward first. Liam followed her silently, walking with calm steps. He could feel the weight of every stare on his shoulders. They entered a tall hall made of crystal and metal. Lights danced across the walls, and voices whispered from every corner. It was a place of beauty and judgment. Inside, Rhaenyra spoke. "With the council." She explained that Liam had been a prisoner, but had proven himself different, honorable, brave, and worth saving. She asked for him to be allowed as her guest, under her personal protection. Some council members murmured. One older noble stepped forward and raised his voice. "A human? In our court? This is foolish." "He is not just any human," Rhaenyra replied. "He saved lives. He showed mercy when he could have shown anger. I trust him." The older nobles' eyes narrowed. "Trust is not proof." Rhaenyra didn't flinch. "Then give him a chance to prove himself." There was silence in the room. Then another noble spoke softly. "Let him remain, but under watch. If he fails, it will fall on your name." "I accept that," Rhaenyra said. Liam stayed silent through the entire exchange. But deep down, he knew this was not over. Many still wanted him gone. Over the next few days, Liam lived inside Rhaenyra's house, a tall, glass-like structure built on high ground, overlooking the city below. He was given new clothes, simple but respectful. He joined Rhaenyra during meals, met her advisors, and continued to learn about her world. Sometimes, they talked for hours about Earth, about war, about what it meant to lead and what it meant to trust. But not everyone was pleased by his presence. One evening, while walking through one of the open gardens, Liam heard a soft clicking noise behind him. He turned quickly. A masked figure rushed forward with a sharp, glowing rod. Liam reacted without thinking. He grabbed a loose rock and threw it with full force. It struck the figure's hand, and the weapon dropped. Liam kicked the attacker backward and shouted for help. Guards came running. Rhaenyra appeared moments later, her eyes wide with shock. "Are you hurt?" she asked. "I'm fine," Liam said, breathing hard. But that was no random attacker. She looked at the fallen weapon and frowned deeply. No, it wasn't. This was planned. Later that night, she called Liam into her private chamber. "They are testing you," she said, "or trying to scare you into leaving." "It won't work," Liam replied. "I don't scare easy." She walked over to the balcony, looking at the stars. "You didn't have to stay, Liam. You could have used the chaos to escape." "I thought about it," he admitted. "But then I thought of you." She turned, surprised. "I'm not here because I'm trapped," he said. "I'm here because I chose to be." She smiled faintly. "Even now, after almost being killed?" "You once said I wasn't born to live in chains," Liam said. "Maybe not. But maybe I wasn't born to run either. Rhaenyra stepped closer. Then what were you born for? He looked at her, eyes steady. To fight for what I believe in, and maybe to stand beside people who do the same. Her voice dropped to a whisper. Even if they're Velarii, even if they're you. There was silence. Soft and powerful, then. She whispered, "Thank you." That night, Liam stayed awake for hours, thinking. The attempt on his life had made one thing clear. He was now part of something much larger. This wasn't just about survival anymore. This was about loyalty. Respect. Maybe even something deeper. He looked out the window at the stars. He had started as a prisoner. Now, he was something more. The days that followed were tense. After the attack on Liam, Rhaenyra increased security around her house. Extra guards patrolled the halls, and visitors were checked twice. Still, she knew it would not stop those who truly wanted him gone. But Liam did not hide. He walked the palace grounds each morning. He studied their customs. He trained in the quiet practice yard, learning the ways of Velarii defense with the same focus he had as a soldier on Earth. Some watched him with quiet respect, others with silent hate. And still, Rhaenyra stood beside him, one evening. As the sun set over the floating towers of Velarin, Rhaenyra called a private meeting in her study. Liam entered and found her already standing by the large window, watching. The sky turned violet. "I've made a decision," she said without turning. Liam stepped closer. "About what?" She finally turned toward him. "I'm naming you my shield partner," Liam blinked. "I don't know what that means." "It's an old tradition," Rhaenyra explained. "A Velarii noble chooses one person to stand at their side. In times of peace, they act as a voice of trust. In times of danger, they protect. It is more than friendship. It is more than alliance. It is a bond." Liam was quiet for a moment. "And your council will allow that?" "They can't stop it," she replied. "They can only challenge it. And I expect they will." Liam walked to the center of the room, rubbing his hand through his hair. "You're putting your name on the line again." She nodded. "Yes, and you are free to refuse." Liam looked at her. The woman who once looked at him through a glass wall now stood before him, open and honest. He saw no fear in her, only resolve. "I don't refuse," he said. Rhaenyra gave a small smile. "Then it is done." The next day, the announcement spread through the upper circles of Velarii society. Whispers filled the courts. A human had been chosen as shield partner to one of the highest nobles. Many called it madness. Some called it betrayal, and one family, old and powerful, called it an insult. That night, Liam was summoned to a chamber of challenge. Rhaenyra met him there, dressed in ceremonial silver armor. Liam had been given traditional robes with her family's crest, a small mark on his shoulder. It felt strange to wear, but it also felt right. "Who am I facing?" Liam asked quietly. "Lord Yarek's chosen fighter," Rhaenyra replied. Blood duel, not to death, but to defeat." "I'm not trained in your ways," Liam said. "I know," she said softly. "But you've fought harder battles than any of them." She stepped forward and placed her hand gently on his chest. "Win or lose," she said. "You stand as my choice." The chamber was filled with noble observers. A round arena with glowing rings and soft-colored lights formed the center. Liam stepped into the circle. Across from him stood a tall Velarii warrior, armored and ready. The challenger moved like a dancer, smooth and fast. The bell rang. The fight began. Liam focused on defense. He used the training Rhaenyra's guards had given him, but mostly he trusted his instincts. The Velarii fighter moved with speed, spinning and striking with precision. Liam blocked, rolled, and ducked, using his earthborn agility to keep up. The crowd murmured in surprise. The human was holding his ground. Then, as the warrior charged forward with a sweeping strike, Liam stepped aside and used the attacker's momentum to slam him into the ground. The crowd fell silent. The challenger rose again, bruised but determined. The match continued. Blow after blow, move after move. Liam didn't fall down at last. The final strike landed. Not from the Valari, but from Liam, using both his strength and clever timing. The challenger hit the floor and didn't rise immediately. The bell rang again. Liam had won. Rhaenyra stood. The expression on her face was not pride, but peace. She stepped into the arena, raised Liam's hand, and spoke. "By tradition and honor, I name Liam of Earth my shield partner. Let all who stand against him stand also against me." No one spoke. No one challenged. That night, in the quiet garden behind her home, Liam sat on a bench under a glowing tree. Rhaenyra joined him, her steps soft on the stone path. "You did more than I expected," she said. "I did what I had to," Liam replied. "I couldn't let them decide who I am," she nodded. "And now they know." They sat together in silence. The stars shone above them. The air was cool and still. Then Rhaenyra turned to him. "Do you know what happens next?" "You tell me," Liam said. "We face the world together," she replied. "Not as ruler and prisoner, but as partners." He looked at her, and for the first time since Earth fell, he felt like he had something to protect again. Something worth standing for, and maybe someone. Weeks passed. Liam's name spread through Valoran like a spark in dry grass. Some spoke it with confusion, others with respect. Many still whispered in disbelief how a human once kept in chains had risen to become Rhaenyra's shield partner, her most trusted protector and companion. But to Liam, none of that mattered. What mattered was what he had become, not by title, but by choice. Each day, he trained with Valari warriors. He studied their traditions, spoke in their tongue, and slowly, the lines between outsider and insider began to blur. Some Valari guards started nodding when they passed him. Some even shared short conversations, and Rhaenyra, she remained his constant. They met often, walked the gardens together, shared meals, and even laughed at times. The wall between them, once strong and cold, had turned to something warm and steady. Still, Liam knew something was building. Quietly, in the background. One evening, Rhaenyra called him to the council chamber. This time, she didn't wear ceremonial robes. She wore a simple black outfit and carried no symbols of power. "What's happening?" Liam asked, reading the seriousness in her face. "The High Council has summoned me," she said. "They want to review my loyalty to the Dominion. Because of me?" "Partly," she replied. "And partly because they fear what I've become. Someone who no longer obeys without question." Liam frowned. "Do you want me there?" She looked up, silver eyes steady. "Yes, beside me. Just like before." Liam nodded. "Then I'll be there." The council chamber was filled with tension. Rhaenyra stood in the center, Liam beside her. The High Council sat in a half-circle, robed in white and silver, their eyes sharp. "Rhaenyra of House Valoran," the head counselor said, "you have brought a human into our most sacred halls. You have allowed him to walk freely, to bear your crest, to speak in your name. Explain yourself." Rhaenyra lifted her chin. "I brought him here because I believe peace cannot be built without understanding." Liam of Earth showed more honor as a prisoner than many nobles show in freedom. The council murmured. Another counselor spoke. "You've allowed him into your home, into your trust, into your circle." "Yes," Rhaenyra answered, "because he has earned it." "And if he turns against you?" "Then it will be my mistake. To carry, not yours." The head counselor looked at Liam. "Speak, human. Do you understand what it means to stand here?" Liam stepped forward. "I do. I'm not asking for a title or your acceptance. I only ask for one thing. And what is that? Let her lead. Let her show you that not all strength comes from old rules and closed doors." Silence. Then, after long discussion, the council gave its answer. You may continue in your position, but the burden of your choice will be yours alone, Rhaenyra. We will not shield you." "I never asked you to," she replied. Outside the chamber, Liam and Rhaenyra walked slowly under the starlight. "They'll never fully trust me," he said. "They might never trust me again either," she added with a soft smile. "But you still chose me." "I did." Liam stopped walking. "Why?" She looked at him, quiet for a long time. "Because," she said gently, "when I first looked at you, I saw fire. Then I saw pain. Then I saw courage. And finally, I saw something I never expected." "What?" She stepped closer, her voice barely above a whisper. "Someone I didn't want to lose." Liam's heart beat faster. She took his hand. "You were never meant for chains. And now I no longer wonder where you belong." Liam looked at their joined hands, then into her eyes. "Neither do I," he said softly. The days that followed were calmer. Together they worked on new missions talks between humans and Velarii, trade routes, and prisoner releases. Liam spoke on behalf of Earth survivors. His words carried weight now. He became more than Rhaenyra's partner. He became a bridge between two worlds. And though the past could not be changed, the future now looked different, brighter. One quiet night, Rhaenyra invited Liam to the same garden where he had once sat alone. The stars above shone clear, and the breeze carried a soft, sweet scent. "You've changed my world," she said, looking at him. "You changed mine first," Liam replied. She smiled. "So what now?" "We keep walking forward," he said. "Together." She reached out and gently touched his face. "No more chains," she whispered. "No more cages," he replied. Then, without fear, without titles, without the weight of war between them, she leaned forward and rested her head on his shoulder. And for the first time, they were just Rhaenyra and Liam, not ruler and warrior, not alien and human, but two hearts that had found home not in a place, but in each other.